Om Sadashiva-Samarambham Shankaracharya-Madhyamam Asmadacharya-Paryantam Vande Guru-Paramparam Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Phunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahi Tejasvinavadhitamastu Mahavidyushavai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. As we have been discussing that in the first verse Mangalacharanam, where also we discussed Anubandha Chatushtayam, and in the second verse we discussed about that how this Guru Seva becomes the means for preparedness of the mind, the qualification of a student, and through Guru Seva we also discussed that how to arrive at sadhana satka sampati. Sadhana chatushtaya sampati, not sadhana satka. So, sadhana chatushtaya sampati. See, can you see the small words makes a big difference, okay? Sadhana chatushtaya sampati, that also we saw in details. And where we highlighted how this Guru Seva presupposes Shraddha, and later on, not only mere Shraddha, confidence in you yourself. Because the confidence in you yourself will come by doing Guru Seva. When you put yourself discipline for yourself, not impose discipline, but your self-discipline. And also you see the growth in you. So that also we have discussed in details. So while discussing verse number 3, we discussed that how this Sambit, so that means that the awareness, the knowing is inherent everywhere. Through that also we discussed very carefully that all of us, we know that we are Sachidananda Swarupa, Sat, Chit and Ananda, the existence, the awareness and the bliss, or some people they use the happiness with big cap H, okay, capital H or capital B, which both are no problem. That also we saw the limitations in that thinking too, so that it becomes very clear for you in later on. So while discussing this thing very nicely, we have come to the point that where here he tries to explain this particular concept, something that is inherent, that is distinct, or that is the same in everywhere, through here different types of experiences. So when we say different type of experiences, the first experience starts with called waking state. So in our waking state, definitely we have our own type of experience. So this verse, I think we have touched a little bit. Now we can go ahead. Sabda sparshadayo vedyaha vaichitrya jagare pruthak tato vibhakta tat sambit ekarupat ekarupyanya vidyate. Sabda sparshadayo vedyaha jagare vedyaha. So jagare vidyaha means in the waking state, jagare. So what happens in waking state? Vidya, that are things to be known. Whatever we know in our waking state. And what are they? Sabda, sparsha, adayah. So that means adi means etc. Shabda, sound, sparsha, touch. And of course, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, other three is included. Form, Rupa, Rasa, taste, Gandha, smell. So this Adi represents other three. But they are called, what is called as their Vaichitrya, because of being distinct, thank God. Because Rupa is different, the form is different from Gandha. Gandha means smell, okay? The Gandha, the smell is different from Rasa, taste. Each one is different from each other, thank God. Or else what will happen, if you are blind, you will not feel that you are blind. If everything becomes one and same. And not only that, will become like, amoeba, you understand? Everything in one. So you don't need all these five sense organs. In fact, imagine if everything is same, what would be painful in life? Always I think this particular point, I think I have shared with you all, that thank God we all are different. Sometimes being different is painful. Because why it is being painful? Because of lack of acceptance, lack of understanding, and of course our habitual error and many other things. But deep within, if you observe, because we are different, that's why we are great. Just imagine if we all become alike. What would be painful? It will be big fight, big nuisance. You can't tolerate. But here also we don't tolerate. That's another point, okay? But only when it crosses the limit, that's the problem. You understand what I'm trying to say? But thank God we are different. The best example that I gave from this example I stressed, like you go to any vegetable shop, that to open market. Why I'm using the open market, not this cozy market, not the supermarket or this air conditioned market, because there everything is being polished and whatnot and put in the packet, and of course you cannot touch in funny countries. Okay, some countries you cannot touch. I don't know why, how the craziness comes. Yeah, I want to buy my vegetable. If I don't touch them, then what is this? Unless you are corona affected. Okay, let us not make. However, the point is, you go to any vegetable market, open market, where you are allowed to touch to pick up. You will discover the person has got, let us say 50 kilos of any vegetable, whether it's eggplant or eggplant also nowadays is horrible in overseas. In India, thank God they didn't allow it. Because everything is same, alike, looks alike. Hey, you should have country eggplants. Then only you can enjoy, not all around, round, whatever shape size. You understand what I'm trying? It's boring, painful to eat. However, that's my problem. Coming back to India, this eggplant, because it's different size, okay? And of course there will be insect. In fact, we were taught in our childhood, this is the truth. If you buy any vegetable that doesn't have any insect, that means that vegetable is not good. Because always insect eats the best. They attack the best. And we were survivor because we snatched from them, you understand? That's another way of looking at it. Coming back to point. So when the person brings 50 kilos, this is the main point. The first one who goes, he buys the best out of that 1 kilo. Now remains 49. Next person goes to buys 1 kilo, 48 best. Now finally becomes 10 kilo. And of course the person is very smart, reduces the price, okay? First it was, let us say, €1, it will be 90 cents, 80 cents, it will slowly come down. That's another trick, they do it. But the fellow who goes last, only 5 kilo is there and he needs only 1 kilo or maximum 2 kilo, 1.5 kilo. But the sub fellow understands, hey, don't worry, this is the best, take 5 kilo, pay me only for 2 kilos. Take everything, no problem, just pay 2 kilos money, but take 5 kilos. So that person also thinks that I got the best deal at least. Now what I am trying to say is, because they are different, each one has a different attitude, different approach. That's why the whole thing is being sold and everything is consumed, and there is a harmony in it. Imagine everybody becomes alike. I hate eggplant, you also hate eggplant. Whole humanity hates eggplant. What will happen? There will be no eggplant. And what we like, only those things will be available. But imagine what a painful situation. Will you like it? So coming to the point, just I stressed that when there is differences, in that differences, there should be something oneness. That's the point I'm arriving at, okay? Only there is a difference. This is the painful thing, okay? Only in a relationship, especially if you look at. In a family, all are different is good. If there are two types of vegetables are made, one fellow likes, other fellow doesn't like it. So the fellow who likes, that fellow gets more. Imagine one vegetable everybody likes and nobody will get it. You understand? There will be a big fight. Thank God. You can enjoy your food when you want. So also, but in the family, there is a difference. There has to be difference. But in the difference, if there is a harmony, what we call that. If there is something called a single thread, that which unites. Or here is the language called, the oneness is being there. Definitely, that differences becomes very useful. Like we give the example of a garland. In a garland, if one type of flowers are being put, it's not that much interesting. It's okay. Whereas if different types of flowers are being put in a order, okay, there is order also, there is intelligence. Not that whenever, however you want, okay, that doesn't look nice, unless you are crazy. That's why the one who starts making garland first starts seeing how much things are there and visualizes before making a garland, supposed to be. Because I have seen also many people, they start doing, by that time they discover there is a garland. This is a wrong attitude, wrong approach. You are supposed to visualize what sort of garland you are going to make, because whom do you offer, how much you give importance to that deity or for whom you are making it. Based on that, you try to see the material or you collect the material. Anyway, let me not get into that point, because there is a big chapter in this regard. So now here it comes. Because there is difference, but in that difference there is oneness. The thread is one, that which connects everywhere. That's why the garland is beautiful and useful. But if only flowers are different, definitely that's not useful. Yes, that is useful for puja sake, for offering it. But it cannot be called as garland. So also here, all sort of experiences, the fields of experiences, all sense objects are different in nature. But in their difference, there is oneness. And what is that? That oneness is called sambit. We have different type of examples. Let us see that the example that we give, that with reference to light. Now when we see, for example, you are able to see. You are able to see my fingers, hand, everything you are able to see me. Now how is it possible? The color, the form, all the shapes and size you are able to see, because the light reflects on me. The light is the main factor. And as you know, the science talks very carefully that what happens? Light is there, but unless light reflects and bounces back, you cannot see either. That is science part, okay? Now, seeing the hair, face, or this hand, or dress, or whatnot, in that there is light inherent. The light, that makes one light, makes all the form to be visible for the eyes. Also we give different type of examples. For example, from there we jump to water. So when you look at water, the water, same water, is being kept in different type of vessels, especially transparent vessels, jars especially, transparent glass jars, whether it's blue color, red color, yellow color, or completely transparent, different colors. Now based on that, even the water is same, but it appears as though different. But in reality, water is not different. Same thing also, look at the space. The volume differs when the space is being put in different places. Or I would rather say, when the object is occupied in different ways in a space. That's the best language, okay? Not that space enters into the object, okay? Space never enters, okay? The objects get in. So when different type of objects are placed in space, now based on the objects, now the volume of the space changes. But in reality, nothing happens to the space either. So when you look at all these things in details, now as if there is a difference, and in that difference, of course there is oneness. That is what we talk as called upadhi. This word also we need to see. Because last time we saw, I think if I am right, we discussed about this jagaritam, what is called waking state. The definition. Indriyehi arthopalabdhihi jagaritamiti. That is what we have highlighted this point. Gaining the knowledge of the object through the sense organs is called waking state. Now we can see what is called upadhi is a good point to observe. So upadhi means, upadhi is something, upa samipavartini adadhati. Upa means samipavarti, that what advises adadhati, sankramayati, suyam dharmaviti upadhi. Means what does it do? Upadhi, it starts imparting its own attribute to the nearby object. Like that water being put in the red jar, red vessel, red glass vessel, let us say. How does it appear? The water color becomes red. So it, as though it imparts its attribute. The redness of the jar is being attributed to that which is nearer to that red jar called water, or externally also. So here what happens? We have to understand that here we have called antakarana. Antakarana means inner instrument. So what is that inner instrument? Antakarana, you know better, okay? In short, called sukshma sarira, okay? In short. Now this sukshma sarira, what does it do? This sukshma sarira is exactly plays the role of upadhi. It always attributes, it imparts its own attribute to nearby object, or nearby here, not object, here object is your thought, okay? Object is here is thought. So the way your antakarana is, the picture of the object, not object here, not thought, or picture of the object that takes place in the mind, is being attributed to the upadhi, the antakarana that you have. Like when you are angry, anger thought. When you are unhappy, unhappy thoughts. In fact, when you are unhappy, any thought and every thought becomes the cause of your unhappiness. When you are happy, anything and everything, all thought becomes happy. No, Swamiji is wrong. In fact, unhappy case I agree, but happy case I cannot agree, okay? Any moment my happiness can be snatched away, okay? Please, Swamiji, you better understand us very well, okay? This is the problem with you. Swamiji, you don't understand us. Sometimes you understand. However, coming to the point here. Now we say how it happens. Here we use this word that among that is to be known called Vedya. Now it's very clear that there is something which is very much present everywhere. And what happens? We use this one very clearly, that the word called Chidbhasa. Okay, I am using those words. This Chidbhasa. So Chidbhasa means the reflected pure awareness. Because these are the terminology you have to remember as time passes, okay? Chidbhasa. So means the reflected pure awareness. That's why we say the knowledge of any object takes place because of the Chidbhasa. And of course, now any sense objects, it has to passes by or with the help of Antakarana, that becomes reflected through this Chidbhasa, then only knowledge is being understood. Because if we want to understand also, we can look at, now let us look at how this Chidbhasa works. So we take the help of a mirror. Now let us take the mirror and keep in front of the sunlight. Now if we keep in front of the sunlight, now the sunlight falls on the mirror. When the sunlight falls on the mirror, definitely there will be reflection, means the light will be reflected through the mirror. That is how in our childhood we do it, okay? Having a mirror, try to focus in somebody's window, door and whatnot, okay? What irritation. Those days we didn't have other things to play, okay? There was nothing to. So smart fellows they did it. In fact, this is how, the great person in Syracuse, he did it, okay? That's why he is very famous. This Eureka. Eureka, okay? Archimedes, okay, very good. Because I remember that fellow with Eureka, okay, nothing else. My first Italian word in my life was Eureka, okay. Now I understand. So in our childhood, Eureka, okay, we used to associate with him. However, so he could handle those days with his smartness, with his greatness. Through the mirror, he could handle the enemies. When the ship started coming from other side, so with the help of, okay, in a different way, not directly, with a sophisticated way, he could focus that light, mirror light, so that they were blind, they did not know what to do, where to go. So enemies could not attack. He could protect the country, that time, for some time. However, coming back to the point, now the mirror shines. And because mirror starts shining, now many objects are also reflected. Now tell me, because of which or what is the main factor that makes the mirror to shine? Does the mirror shine by itself? Definitely not. So that means what? It is because of the sunlight. The mirror not only shines, mirror also helps to shine. So how this mirror, if we observe this point, if we remove the mirror, still objects will shine because of the sunlight. Maybe mirror enhances, where there is darkness, mirror maybe enhances few areas. But mirror has got a borrowed light, that is from sunlight. Same thing also the Chidbhasa. Chidbhasa has got a borrowed light. That's why we use the word, what is Chidbhasa? The reflected pure awareness. So this Chidbhasa, the Antakarana in short, has got power to illumine, but with a borrowed light. And that borrowed light comes from what? That is from Sambit, the awareness. That is Chit that we discussed earlier. That's why we have to be very clear that our Antakarana science, now what we call as mainly because of this Chidbhasa, and again this Chidbhasa is nothing but because of the Sambit. If this is the case, now this Sambit is inherent, or because of Sambit, everything is being illumined. That we see, that we hear, that we smell, that we taste, even though all these are different with reference to sense organs, but in every sense object, in their differentiation, Vaichitrya, because being different, still there is oneness, that Sambit, that which makes us to understand, to see, or to feel, if you want to use the word also. So all the experiences that happens, it is not because of the sense organs. Not the sense organs comes in contact with sense object you experience. It is wrong. It is called gross thinking. That is why gross people are always crazy. In order to experience, they need what? The sense object. Sense organs must come in contact with sense objects. Not necessarily here. It is the principle of Sambit that all the experiences happens. Of course, these sense objects and sense organs are the medium. Through the sense organs, now sense objects are being experienced. But in that, there is something called Sambit. Okay, I understand. Waking with reference to waking state, I understand. Perfect. What about dream? Because in dream, neither my sense organs are alive, active, nor sense objects. So how do you try to explain that also? He said, don't worry. It is not only with reference to waking, it is also with reference to dream, with reference to also sleep. We'll talk these 3 points, okay? And interestingly, between this waking, dream and sleep, because of whose presence these 3 happens, that is one. That's why you say, oh, I had a dream. How could you say? Let us explain what is dream state, okay? Verse number 4. तथा स्वप्ने त्रवेद्यं तुनस्थिरं जागरे स्थिरं तद्भेदो ततोस्थयो संवेद एकरूपा न भिद्यते तथा स्वप्ने त्रवेद्यं तु न स्थिरं जागरे स्थिरं तद्भेदोस्ततयो संवेद एकरूपा न भिद्यते तथा स्वप्ने अत्र. As we discussed with reference to waking state, so also with reference to dream. But with some differences. Here he says, Vedyam na sthiram jagaretu sthiram. This is the difference. If we observe, in the dream, object does not last long. This is the difference, okay? Because what happens, if we observe, we don't dream for longer time, thank God. Unless you are a daydreamer, okay? There are people, okay, daydream, okay? They keep dreaming. You understand? Never comes to an end. That's something really, really painful. But as they say, maximum a dream lasts for half a minute, 36 seconds. Okay? But in 30 seconds, that to maximum, okay? Because sometimes 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, that's all. Average they say in between 20 to 25. 15 to 25 they say. Seconds, okay? Not minutes, okay? Remember this very carefully. But there, from our childhood till death, not only one life, some few lives also comes. And everything in details. It's a very interesting thing to understand. Everything in details we see. So that means they don't last long, but we feel, we experience as though it is long. Whereas with reference to sthiram, with reference to waking state, what happens? It's not like that. In waking state, sense objects last long. That's why the definition of Swapna is being given. Karaneshu upasamhruteshu, Karaneshu upasamhruteshu Jagarita Sanskarajah Pratyayah Savishayah Swapna. Because I am going in a different way, not what Tattvabodha said. Everything is perfect on Tattvabodha. Now it's a little higher stage, okay? So you can go back to Tattvabodha and try to reform. This is how your homework. What Tattvabodha says, waking state, and what we discussed. Here, what Tattvabodha said as a dream and what we are discussing. Karaneshu upasamhruteshu. So that means when Karaneshu upasamhruteshu means when the sense organs are withdrawn, then what happens? Now Jagarita Sanskarajah Pratyayah. Now there is some type of impression. That's why I say the experience along with the objects. It's not only experience. Object has to be there. That's why dream tiger has to be there. Dream you also running should be there. Dream jungle has to be there. So the experience along with objects, that is born of the waking state. That impressions is called dream. Those impressions are called, or that those impressions is dream. So that's why dream cannot project, or in your dream you cannot experience whatever you have not gone through in your waking state either. That's why what Tattvabodha highlights, that there is some type of mixture between whatever you have heard and you have seen. You have seen animal have got 2 horns. But you have heard that person is like an animal. Then what happens? You see that fellow with 2 horns in your dream. So the mixture of what you have heard and what you have seen or you have tasted. So there is a mixture of the sense objects. But again, all this falls into the category of what? Category of experience. So that's why very specifically is being highlighted here. Karaneshu upasamhruteshu jagarita sanskarajah pratyah savishayah iti swapna. So that you call as a dream. Now where this waking state, because it has to be born out of waking state impressions. That means the experiences along with objects that is born out of the waking state impressions. Now here it's looking at that, he says beautifully, if you look at it beautifully, what happens? Now between this waking state and a dream state, tattu tadvedah atah tadvedah. So that means there is difference between them, because very clear, waking state is different, dream is entirely different. But very nicely, two, whereas tayoh ekarupa sambit na vidyate iti. But there is something called identical. What we call as sambit, the knowledge principle. That which makes the dream to dream, that which makes the waking to wake up or waking state. So that knowledge principle is identical in both waking state and dream state, which never differs. That's why there is a link between waking state and dream. Thank God. Or else, you know what will happen? You experience something and you dream entirely different. And there will be no connection. And what you dream and again what you experience entirely different. Not necessary. Thank God you remember your dream sometime. It helps you so that at least, when you don't understand, sometimes dream makes you to understand how stupid you are. So it's like, I remember once it happened to me. Many times happens, but this one I remember, okay? Many times it has happened to me. But this one definitely I remember very well because I had a very bad time, okay? As a child, I think I have shared this example with you all. As a child, I was asked to go to one of my relative house. I think that time I was maybe around 10-year-old must be. So they asked me to go to somebody's house, like few kilometers, at least some 5-6 kilometers, and get one particular date and bring back. And the clear instruction was being given that I should not go anywhere, anybody's house in between. Pick up from there and reach. And that too by walk. And to be very honest, I was angry. Hey, you people are doing your things. You could forget. Now why should I go and get? So if I remember, it was summer. And I have to come by walk. So when I was coming by walk, so somebody saw me on the way. So what I did, so they called me, hey, Watson, come here, stay here and have lunch and go. I said, no, I cannot. No, what is this? Come. Okay, as a child, I didn't have any mother, so I went to their house, kept it. I ate my food, rest little bit. Then after that, I started. Thank God those days there was no telephone, nothing. Then they can trace me that I started, unless they reach and all these things, okay? Which takes few days at least. Or somebody comes to inform. Happily, I came back in the evening. Very nice, because my timing was perfect. The moment I said, okay, when did you start? I woke up, hey, if I tell the truth, God knows what's going to happen. So I calculated this much time happens. So I started, accordingly I told a lie that I started such and such time. I said, wow, you could come faster. So I took my credit and escaped. They were happy, I was happy. Everything was perfect. But this stupid fellow, I never knew him. Okay? Went to bed, sleep. Next day morning when I woke up, I was being beaten up. Without knowing the reason why I am being beaten up, okay? I begged them, why are you people beating me? All of them are together, starting beating me. I said, tell me what mistake I did. At least am I not supposed to know what mistake I did? No, what did you do? Did you bring this idol directly? Remember, now my waking state is being reminded to yesterday's. Yes, because I have already told lie. I can't say no. Yes, again beating. I said, tell me where am I wrong? Tell. I said, yes. Because once I have said, I did not want to go back. Somehow, yes. At least they could have told me, hey, what is the truth? They were hitting. I said, tell me what is the truth? And finally, do you know what they did? Last night, in fact, you vomited everything while sleeping. Means in my dream, I have vomited everything. What a dangerous thing to happen, imagine. I am not telling you jokes. After that, I started learning to sleep alone and let him not vomit at all. And if I vomit, let nobody listen to me. Joke apart, okay? Coming back. So there is a link between waking and dream. So also, if we look at about the sleep also, let us look at what is sleep. Suptostitasya susuptam tamabodho bhavet smriti sacha buddha vishaya avabuddham tattada mamam. So when we look at this, that suptostithasya, so when it says suptostithasya means supta uthitasya. So the one who has woken up from the sleep. Because today I am not using the Sanskrit part today. I also should start. Okay. So when he says Suptam Susupti Tasmat Uttitham Itiva or Purvam Suptaha Paschat Uttitaha Suptasthitha. So that means the one who has woken up from sleep. First the person has slept, now he wakes up. Then he says what? Sausupta tamo bodha. So when he says sausupta tamo bodha, tasya what happens? Susupti kalinasya tamasaha ajnanasya yo bodha. Very nice point to understand. So that means what? The knowledge of ignorance during deep sleep. And what is that ignorance? He says, na kinchit eva bedisha. So when he says, na kinchit eva, that I don't know anything. This is the smriti. This is the smriti comes, means the memory comes. I did not hear anything. I did not know anything. This is what you say. I had sound sleep. Yes, you had sound sleep, only other can say. You cannot say, okay? This is a wrong way of expressing. All the time you say, yes, I had sound sleep. So what does it mean? You created a lot of sound, okay? Actually, this is the truth actually. When you have sound sleep, that time really you don't know anything. Especially the day you are tired. That time. You understand? However, this is good or bad, that's up to others, not you, okay? Thank God. So, unless there is somebody puts a tape recorder next to you to make you to listen next day, that's very painful. Please don't do that, okay? Either. However, coming to the point, then what happens? Sacha. Now, there is a memory that I don't know anything. That memory, always what happens? Abhabuddha Visaya. That memory which pertains to the earlier experienced object. That's why we say, Tada tat tamaha abhabuddham iti. Therefore, I say what? I did not know anything. In short, ignorance was experienced in sleep. Now, how it happens? That's where we say that knowing what you know, also knowing what you do not know, also is another knowledge. Know that you know that you don't know. That's the problem with many of us is, we know what we know, but we do not want to know. Not that we don't know. We do not want to know what we do not know. It's like exactly the cat starts drinking the milk. Putting the head inside the vessel, starts drinking. And what does the cat think? This is the usual. That because I am not able to see the world, I think nobody is able to see me either. Same thing also happens very subconsciously. That I don't want to know that I don't know. There is some type of blockage in us. And that blockage actually, technically I am bringing it because sleep is connected to tamas, okay? So because sleep is connected to tamas, this particular attitude enhances your tamas in you. Can you see this point? In fact, whenever you come to a conclusion and you are comfortable with this conclusion, I don't want to know what I don't know. Or there is no need to know that I don't know. Enough. My life is done. Somebody told me, Do you think, Swamiji, at this age I should change? Oh, you expect me to change, huh? Somebody told me recently. Swamiji, do you expect that at this time I need to change? So, that means what? You expect me to change? Yeah, you get lost. In fact, what I did is I withdraw myself because I have my own problem, get lost. Because some places I tell get lost. Because as long as I tell you get lost, that means really I don't say, but I don't mean that you get lost, okay? But when I withdraw, really, mentally I say you get lost. You understand? This is my way of functioning. If I say, hey, you get lost, that means okay, still my hope is there. Listening to this word, you will wake up. Whereas if I say, okay, thank you, good, mentally I say what? You get lost. So don't force me, okay? Remember all of you the key point. Never allow me, never put me in a position with reference to a mistake I should say, good, very nice, continue. If I say this, that with reference to mistake, if I say, yeah, good, no problem, it's good, okay, continue. That means mentally I am trying to say you get lost. Please, God's sake, I request all of you, don't put me in this point. If you want to see some growth, or else no problem. Coming back to the point. That during my sleep time, I am aware of that. I did not know anything. That means the ignorance was experienced in my sleep. So that means there was a recognition, there was sambit, there was a jnanam. That's why the definition of sleep comes, sarva prakara jnana upasamhare buddhehe karanatmana avasthanam susupti iti. Sarva prakara jnana upasamhare, when all types of knowledge and of course activities too are withdrawn. Sarva prakara jnana upasamhare, all types of knowledge and its activities are withdrawn. Then of course what happens? Buddhe karanatmana avasthanam. So you avoid the avoidance in buddhi. Karanatmana means causal body, or in short called antakarana. So in the form of its cause is called sleep. So that means very clear. That's why in sleep you are very comfortable. And that's why we say the memory only reveals ignorance in our sleep. That's why by trying to sleep, we don't solve anything. Only we slow down the process. If there is a problem, if you sleep, people sleep, okay, very nicely. In fact, I have a beautiful concept I look at. This is how I work. Like a computer. When computer is overburdened, many command is being in. What happens to the computer? Have you ever observed? It happens to me all the time in computer, okay? Because you know my computer cries all the time. And most of the time when it's overburdened, giving again and again a command, computer will hang. Have you not observed? So what does it mean hanging? Means computer wants to take rest. Then you don't have any other choice. Sometimes it happens, I have tried. Do not forcefully I switch up, again start. The hangover is still continuing. Real hangover, okay? Still continues. Because the fellow is so heated up, the memory RAM and everything so heated up. Needs physical shutdown for some time. Some 10 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour, or cool down, put the fan. This happens very well. You need to cool down, especially in summer. Then it starts booting. So if that is the case for your case, that's perfect. But general tendency is what? Slipping to a problem you think, or slipping on a problem, is called solution. Have you not observed this point? So when you have a tendency to slip over a problem, because remember, problem you like do know a bunch of problems, and you want to slip over it. Then what happens? You are trying to escape, you are going to run away. Yes, during sleep time everything becomes perfect, because that's what the ignorance is. But once you wake up, what happens? Everything comes back or not? Yes, when system is hot, automatically it will shut down. Mind doesn't work, nothing will happen. Don't worry. Your head is not going to burst. If you need burst also better, okay? What will happen? Nothing will happen. You will have better life next time, okay? At least you will have better, bigger mind, okay? With big RAM and big memory, big data, not in TV, God knows what, all these things. Because your mind has burst. I am not telling jokes, it's truth. So you will have a giant mind. People will run behind you. Thank God. Then allowing it to slip over. So that's why coming to the point. Here is not point. Point is main point is that I know I don't know. The memory says very clearly, I have a memory that I did not know anything. Especially in the morning when you come and get up, especially in Chennai weather or here anywhere, when you discover, here you don't see much, you don't understand. Chennai example is very beautiful we give, because in Chennai we don't see rain. Recently we are having rain, because everybody loves to see the road to be wet in Chennai. And lorries, because Chennai example is perfect. Lorries most of the time, the amount of water they waste on the road, you cannot believe it. And by the time he reaches the places, half of the tank is gone. I don't know how I don't know, since I am in Chennai, I have been watching this. And morning when you get up and come out, you see the road is wet. Very nicely, not once in a while, everywhere perfectly. Then you come to a conclusion, hey, was there rain or what? Then when you look at, if you are in an apartment, of course you will come to conclusion very fast. If you are independent house, you look at your place, nothing has happened, you understand? That is called real disturbance in you. So coming back to the point, that I did not know, you will start questioning yourself, how come I did not know there was rain in the night? So that I did not know, you can refer to your memory positively or negatively. That's why in these three states, we'll be discussing this point in the next class. How this sambit is inherent. And that is something to be understood. So that means, in short, the experience presupposes sambit. Because of sambit, I am able to experience. We'll see more of it tomorrow. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.